The message came at 2:17 a.m. No name, no number saved, just a single line. You should see what she became. For a second, I thought it was a mistake. Wrong person, wrong number. But then another message followed. An address and a time. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. My grip tightened around the phone as something cold settled in my chest. Because there was only one person that message could be about. Her. 3 years. That was how long it had been since everything ended. Since she walked out, not alone, but with someone else. Not quietly, not uncertainly. Decisively. Like what we had built meant nothing. Like the life we started could be replaced. And she did not just leave me. She left after our baby was born. That was the part that never made sense. Never settled. Never explained. People told me to move on. Said it happens. Said some things break. But they did not see what I saw that day. The way she looked at him. Not guilty. Not confused. Certain. That certainty stayed with me longer than anything else. Because it meant she had already made that decision long before I realized something was wrong. And now, 3 years later, someone was telling me to look again. I stared at the screen for a long moment, weighing it, questioning it, trying to understand why now. Why after everything had already been buried? Then I did something I had not done in years. I searched her name, not out of curiosity, out of control. The results came up fast. Too fast. Because she had not disappeared. She had built something visible. Photos. Events. A life that looked complete from the outside. But something felt off. I could not explain it. Not yet. I scrolled further. And then I saw it. A picture taken recently. Not staged. Not polished. Just a moment caught in between. Her. Standing outside what looked like a small building. Different. Not the same person I remembered. Not in appearance. In something else. Something harder to define. Then I noticed the background. The same address from the message. That was not a coincidence. That was intentional. I locked my phone slowly, my mind already moving ahead, connecting pieces that did not fully fit yet. Because whoever sent that message knew exactly what they were doing. And they wanted me there. At that place. At that time. I did not sleep after that. Not even for a minute. Because something about this did not feel like closure. It felt like a beginning. The next day moved slower than it should have. Every hour stretched. Every minute heavier. Until finally, it was time. 6 p.m. I stood across the street from the address, looking at the building in front of me. It was not what I expected. Not a home. Not an office. Something else. Smaller. Quieter. The kind of place people do not notice unless they are looking for it. And I was. I stepped forward slowly, every step more deliberate than the last. Because whatever I was about to see was not going to be simple. And deep down, I already knew. This was not just about her. It was about something she never told me. Something that had been hidden for 3 years. And now, it was waiting inside. The door did not have a sign. No name. No indication of what the place was meant to be. Just a plain entrance that looked like it belonged to something temporary. Something that did not want attention. That alone made my instincts sharpen. I stepped closer, scanning the windows. Dim light inside. Movement. Not crowded. Not empty. Controlled. I reached for the handle and paused for a second. Not out of fear. Out of awareness. Because once I stepped in, there was no going back to ignoring this. I pushed the door open. The sound was soft, almost too quiet, and the moment I crossed the threshold, the air felt different. Not heavy. Not tense. Just contained. Like everything inside followed a different pace than the outside world. A few people were there. Not many. Spread out. Seated. Waiting. That was the first thing that stood out. They were not socializing. They were not celebrating. They were waiting. For something. Or someone. My eyes moved across the room slowly, taking in details, searching for her. But she was not immediately visible. That did not make sense. If this was about her, she should have been here. Unless this was not meant to start with her. A man near the back looked up briefly, his gaze lingering on me longer than normal. Not surprised. Not curious. Expecting. That reaction did not feel random. It felt directed. I stepped further inside, letting the door close behind me, the outside noise cutting off completely. The silence inside was not uncomfortable. It was intentional. Designed. Like this place existed for a purpose that required it. Then I noticed something else. A small board near the wall. Names. Times. Appointments. My eyes paused on one entry. 6 p.m. No name attached. Just the time. That was mine. My grip tightened slightly as the realization settled in. This was not a coincidence. This was arranged. Someone knew I would come, and they had prepared for it. A door on the side opened quietly, and for a second, everything slowed, because she stepped out, not rushed, not surprised, like she had been expecting this exact moment. 3 years, and yet I recognized her instantly. But something was different. Not just her appearance, her presence. Stronger, controlled, but not the way I remembered. There was something beneath it, something heavier. Her eyes met mine, and for a brief second, I saw it. Not guilt, not regret, recognition. Deep, immediate, like she had been carrying this moment for a long time. Neither of us spoke. We did not need to, because whatever this place was, whatever this meeting meant, it had already started long before I walked through that door. She stepped slightly to the side, giving me space to come closer, not forcing it, not pulling me in, just allowing it. That control told me everything. This was not random. This was not emotional. This was planned. I moved forward slowly, closing the distance, every step bringing more clarity, but also more questions. Because the woman standing in front of me now was not the one who left, and whatever changed her was about to change everything I thought I knew. She did not move closer. She did not step back. She just held her position, letting the space between us carry everything that had not been said for 3 years. That kind of stillness is never accidental. It is chosen. I stopped a few feet away, close enough to see every detail clearly. Her face looked the same at a glance, but the longer I looked, the more I saw what time had done. Not aging, not weakening, refining. There was a calm in her expression that did not exist before. A kind of control that only comes from going through something and surviving it. That unsettled me more than anything else, because it meant she had a story, one I was not part of, and maybe never was. I glanced around the room again, trying to understand where I had walked into. The people seated nearby were not paying direct attention, but they were aware, listening without looking. That kind of awareness does not happen in normal places. It happens where people come with purpose. I turned back to her, waiting. She spoke first, not loudly, not softly, just clear. She said I came. Simple words, but they carried weight, because it meant she was not surprised. I asked what this place was. Direct. No hesitation. She held my gaze for a moment longer before answering. She said it was where people come when they are ready to face what they have been avoiding. That answer did not explain anything, but it revealed enough, because it told me this was not just a location. It was a decision. I felt something shift inside me, not fully, not clearly, but enough to know this was not going to be a simple conversation. I asked her why now. Why after everything? Why after 3 years of silence? Her expression changed slightly, not dramatically, but enough. Like that question touched something deeper than the rest. She looked away for a second, then back at me, more focused this time. She said some things take time to surface, and some truths cannot be rushed. That response tightened something in my chest, because it felt rehearsed, not fake, prepared, like she had been waiting to say it. I stepped closer, narrowing the distance, pushing past the controlled pace she was trying to maintain. I asked about him, the man she left with, the one she chose, the one who replaced everything we had built. Her reaction was immediate, not defensive, not dismissive, something else, something closer to restraint. She did not answer right away, and that silence was louder than anything she could have said, because it meant the answer mattered, more than I expected. Finally, she spoke again, but not directly. She said the reason I was here had nothing to do with him. That line shifted everything, because it removed the one explanation I had held on to for 3 years. I felt the ground shift slightly beneath that thought. If this was not about him, then what was it about? She took a slow breath, steady, controlled, then said something that stopped everything. She said I never asked the right question. Not then, not after, not even now. That hit harder than anything else, because it challenged everything I believed about what happened. I stared at her, trying to process it, trying to find where the gap was, where I had missed something that important. Then I asked the only thing that made sense. What question? She held my gaze, steady, unflinching, and said something that changed everything. She said I should have asked why she left the baby, not why she left me. That single line broke through everything I had built over the last 3 years, because I had never separated the two, not once. And now, I was starting to understand. That might have been the biggest mistake of all. Her words did not settle. They cut, clean and direct, leaving no space to ignore them. I felt the shift instantly, like something I had held steady for years had just been pulled out from under me. Why she left the baby, not me. That distinction changed everything, because it forced a different question, a harder one. I stepped back slightly, not to create distance, but to regain balance. My mind moved fast, replaying that day, that moment, every detail I thought I understood. None of it fit anymore. I asked her to explain. This time, not controlled, not calm, direct. She did not rush. That was the part that made it worse, because it meant she was choosing every word carefully. She said the night she left was not the beginning. It was the end of something that had already been happening for months. That line tightened something in my chest, because I had not seen anything. Not clearly, not enough to question it. She said she had been watching, learning, trying to understand something she did not want to believe. My focus sharpened instantly, because now this was not about leaving. It was about what came before it. I asked what she meant. She held my gaze, steady, then said something that shifted everything again. She said the baby was not the reason she left. The baby was the reason she stayed as long as she did. That hit differently, because it reversed everything I believed. I felt a surge of frustration rise, sharper now, harder to control. I asked her what that even meant, pushing for clarity, pushing past the controlled pace she kept trying to maintain. This time, she did not hold back. She said she found something. Not once, not twice. Repeated, hidden, ignored at first, then impossible to ignore. My mind raced, because I had no idea what she was talking about. No memory that matched that tone, that certainty. I told her to say it clearly. No more indirect answers. No more controlled phrases. Just the truth. She nodded slightly, then said the twist that broke everything open. She said she believed our child was not safe with me. That landed like impact. Immediate. Heavy. Unbelievable. For a second, I could not even respond, because the statement itself felt impossible. I took a step forward, my voice sharper now, demanding explanation, demanding something that made sense. She did not react to the intensity. She expected it. She said she had proof. Not assumptions. Not feelings. Proof. That word changed everything again. Because proof means something exists. Something real. Something I did not know. Or something I refused to see. I shook my head instinctively, rejecting it, because nothing in my memory supported what she was saying. Nothing. But she did not stop. She said the man I believed she chose was not who I thought he was. That twist hit just as hard, because now the entire story I had held on to was being dismantled piece by piece. I stared at her, trying to catch up, trying to find where reality had shifted without me noticing. And for the first time since I walked in, I felt it. Doubt. Not about her. About everything I thought I knew. Because if even one part of what she was saying was true, then the last 3 years had been built on the wrong story. The room felt smaller. Not physically, but in the way every word now carried more weight than the last. I stood there, trying to process what she had just said, but the pieces refused to fit. Not safe with me. That line kept repeating, louder each time. I asked her what proof. Direct. No space left for anything else. She did not hesitate this time. She turned slightly and gestured toward the side room she had come from earlier. The same door I had noticed but ignored. Now it felt like the center of everything. She walked toward it slowly, not checking if I would follow. She already knew I would. I moved after her, every step heavier than before, my mind racing through possibilities that did not make sense, did not connect, did not belong to me. The door opened. Inside was different. Quieter. More controlled. A small table. A screen. Equipment that did not belong in a place like this unless it served a specific purpose. She stepped aside, letting me see clearly. Then she picked up a device. Not new. Not polished. Used. Handled. Important. She placed it on the table and turned the screen on. Footage. Video. My chest tightened instantly, because I recognized the space. My house. 3 years ago. I stepped closer without realizing it. My focus locked on the screen, trying to understand what I was looking at before it even played. She pressed play. The image moved. And then I saw myself, walking through the living room. Normal. Nothing wrong. Nothing unusual. I felt a brief surge of frustration, like this was leading nowhere. But she did not stop the video. She let it continue. Seconds passed. Then something shifted. The angle changed slightly. Another part of the room. The baby's crib. Empty. Then movement again. Me, entering the frame, holding something. Small. Wrapped. The baby. My breath slowed slightly, my focus narrowing. I watched carefully, because now every detail mattered. Every movement. Every second. I leaned closer. And then it happened. A moment. Small. But wrong. My grip. Too tight. Not careful. Not controlled. I froze. Because that was not how I remembered it. That was not how it felt. But the video did not care about memory. It showed what happened. Clear. Unfiltered. I watched as I adjusted my hold, but not gently. Not with awareness. With something else. Frustration. Tension. Something I did not recognize in myself. I stepped back instinctively, like distance could separate me from what I was seeing. It did not. The video kept playing, and each second made it harder to deny. Because it was not just one moment. It was a pattern. Subtle. But there. Repeated across clips. Different days. Same behavior. I shook my head slowly, trying to reject it, trying to find an explanation that made sense, that matched who I believed I was. But the footage did not change. It stayed the same. Consistent. Unavoidable. I turned to her, my voice lower now, not defensive, not aggressive, just searching, asking why I never saw it, why I never felt it. Her answer came immediately. Because you were not looking. That line settled deep. Because it was not an accusation. It was a fact. She said she saw it before I did. Not once. Not suddenly. Over time. Watching. Waiting. Hoping she was wrong. Until she could not ignore it anymore. I looked back at the screen. At myself. At something I did not recognize. And for the first time, the certainty I had carried for 3 years started to break. The screen kept playing. I did not stop it. I could not. Because turning it off would not change what I had already seen. It would only delay facing it. Clip after clip moved across the screen. Different days. Different times. Same pattern. Subtle, but undeniable. My hands moved, my posture shifted, my reactions sharper than they should have been. Not violent. Not extreme. But wrong. Consistently wrong. I felt something tighten in my chest. Not anger, not denial. Recognition. The kind that comes too late. I stepped back slowly, putting space between me and the screen, but the images stayed in my head, repeating, clearer each time. I asked her why she did not say anything. Why she did not stop me. Why she did not confront me before it got to this point. She did not hesitate. She said she tried. More than once. But I dismissed it. Minimized it. Turned it into something smaller every time she brought it up. That hit harder than the footage. Because now it was not just about what I did. It was about what I ignored. I searched my memory, forcing myself to go back, to replay those moments from a different angle. And slowly, fragments surfaced. Small conversations. Quick comments. Her tone changing slightly. My responses. Defensive. Distant. Certain that I was right. Certain that nothing was wrong. I felt the weight of it settle in deeper. Because it meant I had been given chances. Multiple. And I chose not to see them. She stepped closer to the table, pausing the video on a frame I did not want to look at, but could not avoid. My hand. Too firm. The baby's movement. Too reactive. She pointed at it. Not accusing, not emotional. Precise. She said this is when she knew she could not wait anymore. That was the moment. Not the worst one. But the clearest. Because it showed intent without control. I looked at the image again, forcing myself to see it without excuses. Without explanation. Just truth. And it was there. Clear. Uncomfortable. Real. I asked her about the man. The one she left with. Because now that part mattered differently. She shook her head slightly. Not dismissing the question. Correcting it. She said he was not who I thought. He was someone she trusted. Someone who could help her leave safely. Someone who knew how to handle situations like this. That shifted everything again. Because now that decision was not emotional. It was planned. Protective. Calculated. She said she did not choose him. She chose distance. And he made that possible. The story I had held for 3 years collapsed completely. Replaced by something harder to accept. Something that did not make me the victim. I turned away from the screen, needing space, needing to think, but there was nowhere to go that would separate me from what I now knew. Because this was not about her leaving anymore. It was about why she had to. And for the first time, I understood that reason was not her. It was me. That realization did not come with noise. It came quietly, heavy, final, and it changed everything that came after. I stood there longer than I realized. Not moving, not speaking, just letting everything settle in a way it never had before. The silence in the room felt different now, not controlled, not staged, but necessary, because there was nothing left to interrupt it. I finally asked the question that mattered most now. Where is the baby? Not defensive, not demanding, just direct. Her expression softened slightly, not with relief, not with comfort, but with something closer to understanding. Like she had been waiting for that exact question. She said safe, simple, clear, but that was not enough. I asked where. She hesitated for the first time since I walked in. Not because she did not know, because she was deciding how much to say. Then she answered. She said not with her. That shifted everything again. Because I had assumed, always, that she took the baby with her when she left. That belief had been part of the story I built. Now it was gone. I stepped closer, my focus sharpening again, asking who then? Who had my child for 3 years? That question carried weight, more than anything else so far. She looked at me carefully before answering, measuring, not my reaction, my understanding. Then she said something I did not expect. She said someone neutral, someone trained, someone who would not choose sides. That did not make sense at first, until it did. Slowly, a different kind of realization formed. Not immediate, but inevitable. I asked if she meant authorities. She shook her head. Not exactly. Then she explained. Not everything. Just enough. She said after she gathered the footage, after she confirmed what she could not ignore, she did not act immediately. She documented more, built a timeline, made sure what she saw was not isolated. Then she took it to someone who knew how to handle it without turning it into something chaotic. Controlled, legal, structured. That was the difference. She did not run. She transitioned. I felt something shift deeper this time. Because now this was not just about leaving. It was about process, about steps I never saw, about decisions made while I was unaware. I asked why I was not told, why I was not confronted directly with all of this. Her answer came slower this time, more deliberate. She said because you would have denied it. You would have fought it. And in that moment, the risk would not have been worth it. That landed harder than anything else. Because I knew it was true. I would have argued, defended, explained it away, exactly like I had before. The difference now was evidence, time, distance. I looked at her again, seeing her differently now, not as someone who left, but someone who made a decision I never understood until this moment. Then I asked the final question. Why bring me here now? After 3 years. After everything had already been done. She held my gaze, steady, unflinching, and said something that changed everything again. She said because now you are ready to see it. Not deny it. Not fight it. See it. That answer settled in slowly. Because it meant this moment was not about the past. It was about what came next. And for the first time since I walked in, I realized this was not just a confrontation. It was a test of whether I could face what I had been avoiding or walk away from it again. And this time, walking away would not just cost me the truth. It would cost me everything left. The room felt different now. Not tense, not controlled, clear, like everything unnecessary had already been stripped away, leaving only what mattered. I stood there, no longer trying to argue, no longer searching for a version of the past that made me feel right. That version was gone. And for the first time, I let it stay gone. I looked at her and said I wanted to see my child. Not later, not eventually. Now. My voice was steady, not demanding, not desperate, just certain. Because this was no longer about proving anything. It was about what I did next. She held my gaze for a moment, searching for something, not doubt, not hesitation, but consistency. Then she nodded once. That was enough. She reached for her phone and made a call, brief, precise, confirming something without explaining it. When she ended it, she told me to follow her. No delay, no build-up, just movement. We walked out of the building together, the evening lights softer now, quieter, like the world outside had no idea what had just shifted inside. A car was already waiting. Not random. Expected. We got in without speaking, the silence between us no longer heavy, just focused. The drive was not long, but it felt different. Not stretched, not rushed, defined, because every second now had direction. We stopped in front of a modest place, clean, structured, nothing extreme, nothing hidden. The kind of place built for stability. She stepped out first. I followed. Inside, the air felt calm, organized, safe. That word carried more meaning now than it ever had before. A woman approached, composed, professional, Someone who had seen situations like this before. She looked at me carefully, not judging, not welcoming, assessing. That was the difference. She said my name correctly, which meant this had been prepared, not suddenly. Over time, she asked one question. Are you ready? Not emotionally, not generally, specifically, ready to be accountable. That word settled deeper than anything else tonight. I nodded, not quickly, not to pass the moment, with understanding. She studied my response for a second, then stepped aside. And that was when I saw my child, standing a few feet away, not afraid, not confused, calm. That hit harder than anything else, because it meant stability had been there, even without me. I moved forward slowly, every step more controlled than the last, not reaching too fast, not overwhelming the moment. My child looked at me, not with recognition, not fully, but not with fear either. And that was the line I had to rebuild from. I stopped at a distance, letting the space stay safe, letting the moment belong to them, not to me. Behind me, I could feel her presence, steady, watching, not interfering, not guiding. Just there. Because this was no longer her decision. It was mine. I turned slightly, just enough to speak without breaking the moment. I told her she did what I could not. She protected. She prepared. She made the hard decision. And I understood it now. Fully. That was the closure she needed. But what came next was mine. I stepped back again, not leaving, but giving space, showing control, showing change, not through words, but through action. Because real change is not declared, it is demonstrated. And the real revenge was not taking anything from her. It was becoming someone who could never be questioned like that again. 3 years ago, she walked away to protect. Tonight, I walked forward to earn back what I lost. Not by force, not by right, by proof. And this time, I was ready to give it. Tell me in the comments that where are you watching this story from? Like this video, and also subscribe to this channel for more interesting revenge stories.